impacts the way people live and experience their families, their communities, and how effective they are at their jobs. So I want to thank you all for all of your hard work, your effort, and again, exciting days that we want this not to be the first and last. We want this to be the first of many great announcements that we make that's going to make travel and train travel great again in America. So thank you all for coming out. God bless, and honored to be your secretary.
Thank you, Secretary. You know, there are so many people at Amtrak that have played an incredible role in us getting here today. We've fallen behind in investing in rolling stock and investing in the rail systems. This major investment represents a real turning point. But you know, those things happen one step at a time. And sometimes those steps are really difficult, and sometimes they're a little bit easier. But the Amtrak team that worked on this, I have an enormous amount of gratitude for. The board is appreciative of all your work. And the person who leads that effort, the person who has been steadfast on this project and worked through all of the different obstacles and challenges is the president of Amtrak, who I'd like to introduce now to speak, Roger Harris. Roger?
Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Mr. Secretary. It's a very exciting day here today. Beautiful trains, beautiful weather, beautiful crowd. Thank you very much. As Tony said, I'm the president of Amtrak, and I'd like to welcome you here to this launch ceremony for the next generation Acela. In my many years in the transportation industry, including the last 6 at Amtrak, I have never seen a project bring together a company the way this one has. Next Gen Acela has been a truly impressive display of teamwork, dedication, and commitment, just like Tony said. I'd like to ask for a round of applause for all the people who worked on that project. It's easy to say that these are great days for Amtrak. After all, it's true. We're breaking records across the country. For 2 years in a row now, we've broken our ridership record. But starting tomorrow, it's an even better day for the residents and visitors of the Northeast Corridor, especially in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Acela isn't just for titans of industry and politicians. It's for coming to visit the many museums and restaurants the district has to offer, touring the National Mall, Capitol, or White House. With Next Generation Acela, you can relax before spending a full day visiting the sites and learning our country's history. Catching a Nationals game? Get there before the crowds with a high-speed train. Have an important business meeting in Golden Triangle? Stay productive and connected with our 5G-enabled Wi-Fi. Want to get inspired by state-of-the-art tech before you experience it at that DC Innovation Hub? Now with Next Gen Acela, you can get all of this and more before you step into the city. And yet, it's not just about Washington, D.C. After all, we're about to take this train all along the Northeast Corridor to Philadelphia, New York City, Providence, and Boston. For context, the Northeast Corridor is one of the busiest and economically vital regions in the world. It includes 45% of the jobs in the Northeast, 20% of jobs in the U.S., 25% of the nation's top universities, and 20% of the Fortune 500 headquarters. In addition, the Northeast Corridor contributes $3 trillion in annual economic output, 20% of U.S. GDP. When Acela was introduced almost 25 years ago, it changed the way people thought about trains. Amtrak's market share in the Northeast has doubled since then, and Next Gen Acela is here to take it to new heights. These trains are beautiful, they are fast, they are state-of-the-art, and they are American-made. And best of all, beginning tomorrow, they are ready for service. What should you expect on board? Well, if I could define the new trains in 3 words, they would be premium, convenient, and comfortable. Plus, by traveling at up to 160 miles per hour and offering more daily departures, there has never been a better way to travel by train in America. Thank you to Alstom and suppliers for designing and manufacturing these trains, as 95% of the components are made right here in America. While these trains will service the Northeast Corridor, their impact is national. More than 180 suppliers built parts for these trains across 29 states. All told, investment in this project generated 15,000 new jobs across the U.S., including in cities like Spartanburg, South Carolina, and Marinette in Secretary Duffy's home state of Wisconsin. So really a widespread impact throughout the country. Secretary Duffy, I'm glad you can be here today to celebrate with us. We appreciate your partnership in improving transportation across the country and your belief in these trains and what they can accomplish for America. Also, I want to thank President Trump and the Trump administration, as well as everyone gathered here today for their support of passenger rail. We often talk about a new era of rail, but that can't exist without next generation Acela. We look forward to seeing you on board. With that, thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Roger. Very, very well said. Amtrak operates in a partnership with U.S. DOT in many ways, and none of this would be possible without that partnership being effective. Certainly, the FRA has been a critical part of ensuring that Amtrak does its job, does it well, and supports what it does. I know that there are several individuals from FRA who are here today, David Fink, Paul Nussbaum, Kyle Fields, all people who have put an enormous amount of effort into making this possible. But the effort at DOT on a day-to-day basis is led by the Deputy Secretary, who will be our next speaker, Stephen Bradbury, someone who I have spent an enormous amount of time with, working through the challenges of getting us here today, getting these trains running, and we are very indebted to his commitment to service and his commitment to quality and his commitment to our passengers and the American public. Deputy Secretary Stephen Bradbury.
Thank you, Tony. What an honor to be here, and really it's an honor for me, a privilege to serve with Secretary Duffy in this second Trump administration. I served in the first one, but I can tell you the energy level in the second Trump administration is just off the charts. It's energizing for me every day. And the ambitions that this administration have, I mean, you've seen the announcements, you see what we're doing, and making rail travel great again in America is part of the ambition of the Trump administration. And so that's what brings us here today. I really want to congratulate Roger and his team, our colleagues at Amtrak. It's a great day for Amtrak, and we have a perfect day weather-wise. Wow. And I have the best view right now, looking right down the nose of this beautiful, gleaming, high-speed train set, a real, true high-speed train set for the United States. Very exciting. It's going to really make a great passenger experience for Amtrak's customers on the Northeast Corridor, like never before. But those customers also deserve a great passenger experience at Union Station. I also have the privilege, as the Secretary's representative, to chair the board of directors of the Union Station Redevelopment Corporation. That's a D.C. corporation that was set up by Secretary Elizabeth Dole back in the 1980s, pursuant to a direction from Congress. Congress in the 1980s transferred ownership of Union Station to the Secretary of Transportation and gave us a charge to maximize the revenue potential of the station, make it a center of economic activity, generate revenue to go into the station and preserve the historic nature of this gorgeous Beaux-Arts rail station, one of the most beautiful buildings in the entire country, the entire world, really. And that worked great in the 1980s. You may recall there was a wonderful redevelopment of Union Station. It was beautiful. It was an economic center. It was vibrant. It was really an outstanding symbol of our nation's capital. That was more than 40 years ago, and things have unfortunately gone downhill. We've neglected the basic capital needs of the station. The capital needs now amount to something like $170 million. We need a new roof. We need new systems in the station. We need new restrooms in the station. There's a lot to do, and unfortunately, there isn't the money available. As the Secretary said, the utilization of the station is not where it needs to be. We need to maximize the retail revenue of the station, the revenue of the station as an event space. Can you imagine a better event space? And that should generate huge revenue. Digital signage. We have a parking garage. We need to bring this all together and maximize it. We need to get the station on a stable financial footing, and we need to address those acute capital needs of the station. I see Doug Carr here, who heads up USRC, the Union Station Redevelopment Corporation. We're working together with Doug and with Amtrak. As the Secretary said, we have a plan at DOT to take back control of the station, working with our partners, USRC and Amtrak, to get it on a stable financial footing, to address the rehabilitation needs of the station, and really do what Congress demanded we do and take care of this beautiful historic building. Once we do that, and we have a plan to do that quickly during the current Trump administration, we then want to set the foundation to open the doors to a beautiful expansion of the station in the future, probably through a P3, a public-private partnership with a beautiful new passenger concourse. You know, the Biden administration had a plan for a new passenger concourse. They were going to spend a cool $10 billion over 13 years to expand the station out this way, but they weren't going to spend a penny on the historic train house. That's really the wrong priorities. We got to get this historic train house back on good footing, and then we can talk about a reasonable expansion that will make sense and for which Congress will provide a budget with private investment. So that's the long-term vision, which then will create what a passenger experience for Amtrak on the Northeast Corridor. That will supercharge this beautiful Acela service, and that will make for a sustainable future for growth and prosperity and profitability, let's hope, for Amtrak in the future. So thank you all for coming. It's a beautiful day, and let's ride the train.
It is an honor to serve on the Amtrak board, and I wanted to sort of point out that 3 of my fellow board members are here today. Our Vice Chair, Joel Zabit, our Elaine Clegg, who is here all the way from Idaho, showing that the whole country cares about this, and David Capozzi from Maryland, who's also here with us today. I am, as I said, honored to be with such a full group of our board that is so committed to making Amtrak all that it should be. You know, people talk about public-private partnerships all the time, and, you know, the truth is that the intersection between government and the private sector is something that we all need to work at, because there's an enormous amount of value that can be unlocked by having strong partnerships with private sector entities where our economic interests and our mission interests can be aligned. And this project is an example of that. And the truth is that our passengers, they don't really care about whether it's the public sector or the private sector. They want to get on a safe, clean, reliable train. They want to get from point A to point B. How we actually do that is really on us to come up with a way of optimizing all of that. So our partnership with Alstom, one of the premier manufacturers of rolling stock in the world, has brought to the United States and brought to this market technology and innovation that has existed in other parts of the world and that is way overdue to enter the U.S. market. And in fact, Alstom is now learning things from us that they're also using in Europe, which is the way that it should work. And in all of that, we've learned to work together, and we've learned to repeat this and do it more. And what's really amazing about all of this is that the technology and the innovation that exists globally has been brought to the United States, but the jobs have been created here. In Hornell, New York, an entire community has been enlivened by the fact that this project, these trains, have been built there. And we're very indebted to our partner for having seen the wisdom of doing that and accessing that unbelievable American workforce that I know Amtrak relies on and the country relies on. So it is an honor to introduce from Alstom their chief executive, Henri Poupart-Lafarge. Henri?
Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure and it's a real honor to be with you today. And I have to say I'm quite impressed to be alongside esteemed speakers, Secretary Duffy, Deputy Secretary Bradbury, Chairman Kochar, and President Harris. It's a fantastic day for us. It's a fantastic day for Alstom. We are today inaugurating a new high-speed line. And as being said, Alstom has pioneered the high-speed technology for the last 40 years. So we have been able to see how much the power of transformation of a new high-speed corridor. It creates new economic opportunities. It shrinkens distances between cities and between citizens. And it creates a lot of job opportunities and general opportunities for all the people living along the corridors. So today, we are inaugurating the new high-speed trains, the fastest trains in the US. But I can tell you it's not just a normal train. This is the most advanced train in the world today. This is the only train combining the high-speed technology with the tilting technology, which allows the train to go faster through the curves. So you have here the most modern train on the globe today. As being said, this train has been entirely